U.S. forces have struck targets in parts of Houthi-controlled Yemen, destroying 2 drones, a Houthi ground control station, and 3 anti-ship cruise missiles. That's according to U.S. Central Command. This comes as fears rise of a wider conflict in the region following the death of Hamas's political leader in Iran. Meanwhile, Israeli forces say they killed a senior Hamas member during an airstrike in Gaza last month, as Israeli forces continue operations in central and southern Gaza. But amid the fighting, the White House says a ceasefire deal is as close as it has ever been. Our Ramy Inocencio is in Tel Aviv following the latest. Ramy, good morning.
Lilia, good morning there. Yeah, John Kirby's statement on one hand gives at least some hope, but on the other hand, it's surprising considering the Mideast here is in danger of all-out war after the assassinations of leaders both in Hamas and Hezbollah, along with the threat, of course, of retaliation by Iran, and then the elevation of a more extreme leader to be that new head of Hamas. Now, I spoke to a longtime Israeli negotiator, Gershon Baskin, who has sources inside Hamas, and he said that it seems detached from reality. This is a Washington statement, but maybe, he says, the U.S. knows something that we don't. But what we do know is that President Biden has been working the phones with the leaders of both Qatar as well as Egypt, who are, of course, the mediating countries in ceasefire talks. And the White House said that negotiations had reached a final stage. What we also know is that foreign ministers from dozens of Muslim countries are in Saudi Arabia right now talking about Mideast tensions and possibly de-escalation. And John Kirby had this to say about that.
We don't want to see this conflict escalate. We certainly don't want to see any sort of all-out regional war. And there's not a whole lot of indications that other parties here want to see the same thing, which is why we're working really, really hard with intense diplomacy to try to avoid an escalation. Can't predict that we're going to be 100% successful in that, which is why the president ordered additional military resources to the region to make sure that should Israel be attacked, that the United States can ably come to her defense.
And back on ceasefire talks, last night the office of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that it's given a clear offer to Hamas, but that no response has been received yet. But critics of Netanyahu, many of them the families of hostage victims, believe he actually does not genuinely want a ceasefire and that he wants the war to continue, Lilia, only for his own political survival.
Ramy, thank you.